Welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. This Shanola girl checking in. Okay, all right. So it is officially the first day of the NFL in terms of doing business. Free agency starts today. Happy New Year, so to speak, because it's the first day of business for the NFL. So for many of you that are new to the NFL, I know y'all probably look at the first preseason game or training camp, but actually it's today. Free agency kicks off the league season. All right, so we got a lot of news. First and foremost, I wanted to share Jeudy is out here working out with Route Guard. Now, the last time we talked about Route Guard was when the young man passed away, Rondell, um, from I think he played for the Falcons at one point. His name was Rondell, and Raga gave us some insight into some of the issues that the players face. So I said he was a trainer, and here he goes. He's working out with Jeudy. So let's just take a look at Jeudy getting the workout in, and we're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about some things. So Jeudy, is on his third year of his contract that he received from the Browns, right? And there's a lot of top wide receivers have already been signed. Jeudy is not a free agent. Now, a lot of these 3-year contracts have what they call flexibility built in, like Zion Johnson, the O lineman, who was considered a top get for the Browns. Really, they have an out in 2 years. But Jeudy's contract this year should be his out year. He got the contract in 24, played the 24 season with the Browns, and what? Did well, right? He and another, I think, wide receiver, Amari Cooper, but they decided to keep Jeudy, who came into the Browns after tapping out, not doing well at all in Denver. And for whatever reason, the Browns decided to give him like a $53 million contract on 3 years. So that was 24th season. He did well. That he was so impressive to them. They decided to up his guarantee from maybe $20 million to approximately $40 million. So he's like $10 million left, for this year. And you think that they could trade him with that, right? So it seems that the Browns haven't made any wide receiver moves in free agency. I hear we got a tight end today for 1 year. It's kind of lackluster, right? What does that mean for Blake Whiteheart, Brendan Bates, and Canales? We'll talk about that. So, let me know what you think of Jeudy. Does he look like he's getting, all his routes crispy? What do you think? Some people might see this and go, "Oh yeah, he's ready," right? I have a question, right? My question is, since Jeudy was there under Stefanski and Tommy Rees, and Tommy Rees said, and I quote, even after Jeudy was leading the league in drop passes, after Jeudy was skipping to my move, working at will and not consistently. If they love Jeudy so much, why did they take him to Atlanta? They took a defensive player that I didn't even know. So why didn't Stefanski and Tommy Rees, who said, I love Jeudy, we're going to feature him more after he was failing. Now, remember, Jeudy came into the Browns after failing out in Denver and did good for 1 year, got this massive contract, $52 million. Not the most massive. We've seen $100 million, $80 million, but, $52 million for somebody that failed is bad, right? Especially when you go from a $21 million guarantee in 1 year to approximately a $42 million guarantee. And you lead the league in drop passes. And your coach never takes you out no matter how much you fail. You continuously fail up so much, you got the bright idea to harass your quarterback and embarrass the team on national television. Now, looking at Jeudy workout, right? I don't think it's ever been a question of if he can catch the ball. I don't think that's the question. I think the question with Jeudy is he willing to catch the ball and advance the play of the game for the team that he's currently on, the Browns, in an attempt to try to strategize and win the game consistently? Consistency is key. The question is Jerry Jeudy willing to go out there and do his job? Not haphazardly, not sometimes, not lazily. Is Jerry Jeudy willing to catch the ball, hold on to it, and advance the play in an attempt to win the game consistently? That is the question with Jerry Jeudy. And the fact that he led the league in drop passes, you think instead of Njoku being gone first, you think it would have been Jerry Jeudy. And considering he's only $10 million left on that contract because they've given him so much money up front after he failed in Denver, after he failed last year, after he failed in 26, yet he's still there. And Stefanski and Tommy Rees didn't take Jerry Jeudy with him. What are your thoughts about that? And while you're thinking about why did Stefanski and Tommy Rees, who love Jerry Jeudy, who refused to adjust away from him to put in a better player who was performing better, they chose to keep an underperforming player and lose than make adjustments and try to win? Why did they not take Jerry Jeudy to Atlanta? Tommy Rees, specifically, who's the OC in Atlanta. You think Jerry Jeudy would have had his wagon hitched to Tommy Rees, and Stefanski, who never sat him, took him out the game or held him accountable? Let me know your thoughts. All right, so let's get in here about Max Crosby. So late last night, it came out that that big blockbuster trade with Max Crosby from the Vegas Raiders to the Ravens was voided. And it was said that Max Crosby failed his physical. And I'm like, what? What? So I just said, okay, because, they put that out there. I didn't think much of it. I don't follow Max Crosby's career. I know he's friendly with Shedeur. I know Max Crosby knows the Sanders family, spoken highly of them, spoken highly of Shedeur. I know he's good at what he does. I was shocked that they traded him, but we knew he wanted to leave because he left out the facility. He felt like they were benching him for no reason, to maybe try to tank or something, or that they were saying he was injured and he wasn't. In other words, they were playing games this season he didn't want to play, so he wanted to go to a contender. So a contender is where he went, to the Ravens, until they picked the Ravens apart, particularly the offense, and left Lamar with a skeleton offense, hyping up Max Crosby on defense until about 12:30 last night. I got the information that Max Crosby's trade was void. And we talked about, so where does that leave him? Where does that leave him? I think we talked about it on the late podcast, and I got an update about 12:30 a.m. Where does that leave Max Crosby if he failed his physical and the Ravens immediately voided the contract, which was highly suspicious, and he's not going back to the Raiders? Or is he going back to the Raiders? Because they have to absorb his salary against their cap hit. But they had the most cap space out of any NFL team, and it's said not to be a problem. So it sounds like Max Crosby thought he was leaving. He was in Baltimore. He was shown filming, zooming in on the Bank Stadium, like rubbing his hands like Birdman. I can't wait to get out here and play with the Ravens. And they just snatched it from underneath him. Oh, you failed your physical, contract void. Bam. I'm out in limbo. I don't know. So this is what was said late last night. It said by Pro Football Talk, every trade is contingent on a player passing a physical. This is very much true. It said, but the Raiders didn't say Crosby failed his Ravens physical. Now, let me repeat that again, just in case y'all just audio only. The Raiders, the team Crosby left from, did not say that Crosby failed his Baltimore Ravens physical, the team he going to. So the Raiders are like, nope, he didn't fail his physical. It's that the Raiders said the Browns, the Ravens backed out. Let me repeat that again. The Raiders, Max Crosby's former team, said that the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, in quotes, backed out of the trade. Buyer's remorse? That's what people are discussing. It's that this feels bigger than a failed physical. So let me get this straight. In addition to gutting your offense, you get people on your fishing line with Max Crosby. Well, at least we have Max Crosby. So you decide we don't want Max Crosby. You lie on this man and say he failed his physical, marking him damaged goods in people's minds, which is horrible. And you just didn't want him, but you made the trade for him. I don't know who the general manager is for Baltimore, but they should be fired today. They should be fired today for total incompetence. For giving Mark Andrews, who's 30, a 3-year deal worth $39 million and all the damn money, not prioritizing Isaiah Likely, who they brought in for Lamar to catch from, to throw to, and getting rid of the other tight ends, so you don't have no tight ends. Okay. And giving away your first round pick for either 26 and or 27. You didn't re-sign DeAndre Hopkins yet, who was excited to see Max Crosby coming in, and he said, "Oh, maybe I ought to go delete that tweet." Right? And Max Crosby, you see him, you know he in the city. He's excited. He's zooming in on the stadium from afar, his hotel somewhere, and you snatched the rug out from under him. And I think today they may have signed somebody else. But the point is, they seemingly had buyer's remorse and didn't get him, or were they playing in his face? Let's see where Max Crosby ends up, because what I said was, if he failed his physical, he's going to have to fix something, right? That's going to take some time, so he can't just go back to the Raiders, or can he? And then now that it comes out that the Ravens are dirty, and it's becoming apparent, more and more apparent, that the GM clearly has some type of agenda. They bring bait Max Crosby in and cut bait when everybody else already have who they want to get. Who does this remind you of? Day 3, Shedeur Sanders. The Browns, what did they do? They pre-draft with Shedeur all the way through CU's pro day and left there. Brought everybody down with them on, gassed up their jet. Andrew Berry. I think they even brought the cabin lady unless she hitched a ride on another plane. Had her doing interviews talking about, are they going to get Shedeur and Travis or just Shedeur, etc. They have a hard decision to make. They went to dinner with all of the players, just reeling them in. And on 4/10, 6 days later, they had already pivoted somehow to Dylan, which you will never be able to explain a pivot to Dylan, from Shedeur, best quarterback in the league, to Dylan. Because if you say you didn't have the money to get Shedeur, you knew that before this process started, right? It's March, it's free agency. You know how much money you have right now. The draft doesn't come up for another month, right? So you pre-draft with Shedeur extensively. And then somehow the draft, you end up with him at a deep discount, which you tried to get Malik Willis for. Another deep discount. Shout out to Malik Willis, who made it somewhere else with the bag. And now, after everybody had their quarterback, pre-draft 30 for 30 meetings and knew who they wanted to get, 2 weeks out, you cut bait with Shedeur and nobody else wants him because they already got somebody. That's what just happened to Max Crosby. Reeling everybody in. Oh, the Ravens are doing good. It don't matter that they, stripping their defense. That don't matter. Because we got Max Crosby. And the moment everybody go, oh, okay, we got Max Crosby. Oh, you know what? Nah, we don't want Max Crosby. And they lied and said he failed his physical when apparently, according to the team he left, he did not. So what kind of shady business is the Ravens doing, in addition to getting ready to supposedly negotiate with their quarterback, who they put on a record and said they're prioritizing him, which clearly is a lie, because they stripped his offense. So the team is in shambles. New OC, new head coach, new DC. Kyle Hamilton is quiet because he thought he was on a contender. Now he's stuck on a gutted team. Gutted like a fish. And fish rots at the head. I hear people talking about how they love the Ravens owner for doing this, that, and the other. So is the Ravens owner doing this, or is the Ravens owner letting the GM destroy the team before they negotiate with Lamar? Which may or may not be a message to you. Might as well bounce because you're not winning nothing here. Over on TikTok, on my TikTok, fans keep putting in the comments, the NFL, the Ravens not going to ever let Lamar win a Super Bowl. I hope Lamar has figured that out. Just like I hope Deshaun has figured out the same thing. They both got about the same amount of money, along with Who? Kyler Murray, who's still available. So let me know when you hear about Max Crosby's situation. Did he go to another team? Is he stuck in limbo? Can he go back to the Raiders? Do they want him to come back to the Raiders? Is he truly injured, or is it that they lied? And are they going to get away with it? And who else did they sign? Trey Hendrickson? All right, let me know. So moving right along. Shout out to Max Crosby. We wish you well, buddy. This is a big message to you. If these folks lied on you and said you failed your physical, it's a message. Best wishes to you. Okay, Kyler Murray, still available. Still available. And I haven't seen Andrew Berry's jaw-dropping shakeup of the quarterback room. I have seen it. Have you seen it? So is it a coincidence on day one officially? It's day 3 of free agency, people say, but it's really day 1 of free agency. Previously, it was just the negotiating period. So on the official day 1 of the league's new business year, Kyler Murray is still available with the league minimum. It's not like any team has to fork over $40 million. This quarterback class in the draft is abysmal. Abysmal. I haven't heard Mendoza's name ever since he said on TV that one of the teams he met with told him to get arrested so he could go to them and get devalued. And people thought that was funny. And I said, ha, hell, because Isaiah Bond, Quinshon Junkins, Kyron Lacey, Shedeur Sanders, they all have one thing in common. And what is that? And then they have another thing in common. And what is that? And then they have a third thing in common, minus Kyron Lacey, because he didn't make it. And what is that? So I haven't seen Mendoza since he said that. I'm pretty sure they didn't want him to say that out loud, because they just gave me another piece to the Kyron Lacey situation. I told y'all, Kyron Lacey, it was known right after the new year, when you come back to work around January 4th, January 8th, that he was innocent. And it was discussed that case should have never went to a grand jury. So why did it? Oddly enough, his grand jury meeting was something, if he just gave his lawyer one more day, everything would have been well. How'd you know that? So what was the grand jury process supposed to do? Sully his reputation. And what happened? The NFL disinvited him from the combine. So he was devalued. So if he was alive, he would have been undrafted free agent like Isaiah Bond, who was falsely accused 2 weeks before the draft also. So when Mendoza was saying out loud what he thought was funny to some, including myself and maybe some lawyers, that wasn't funny at all. You just told us how they like to conduct business, because we've been seeing it. So thank you. Thank you, Mendoza. Thank you, Fernando Mendoza. We appreciate you. All right. So Kyler Murray's still available. I haven't seen Andrew Berry's jaw-dropping move. I want to know what y'all think the move is. I did a poll. We said 65% of the people said it's going to be Shedeur or Deshaun traded away. We talked about why that is likely, because what's his name? Rizzo said suddenly the Browns are not counting on Shedeur. Now, this is coming out right before free agency starts. You have to look at the timing. The timing is everything. Timing is everything in any situation in your life. The time to when things happen is everything. So right before the official day of free agency, not the negotiating period, I think day 1 of the negotiating period, Rizzo says that the Browns are not counting on Shedeur, but that he hopes he get a chance. Now, remember, we have been hearing about competition. And then I think it was Tony Grossi said that Andrew Berry has this QB room shaking, jaw-dropping move coming up. And I'm like, we didn't see it in negotiations day 1. We didn't see it in negotiations day 2. And Kyler Murray is still available. Geno Smith went back to the Jets, where he started a whole nother conversation. We are profiling Geno Smith tonight, along with CJ Stroud, in terms of what's going on with them and their teams in free agency. Join us at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, with that being said, the timing of that being said, jaw dropping, QB room shakeup, the Browns are not counting on Shedeur. No more talk of a competition right before free agency. And the Browns do what? Go out and replace their entire O-line. They go out and replace their entire O-line, I think with the exception of left tackle that people think they're going to tackle in the draft. Cam Robinson, I think they could just bring him right back. So as we get closer and closer to the end of free agency, which just started, Kyler Murray is still available. Somebody told me they thought it was his contract. No, because Tua left a $99 million dead cap space and made his way on day one of negotiations to Atlanta, which was Stefanski saying, I'm not getting nobody else. I'm just getting this guy. In other words, he wasn't interested in Geno Smith. He was letting it be known he wasn't interested in Kyler Murray. Now, when you understand that whatever they're going to do, they already knew that this is what they were going to do. Whatever the Browns, however they end free agency, is the strategy that was known to people likely like Rizzo and or Tony Grossi. Mary Cabot been wrong the entire time. I think they feeding her misinformation. That's what you get. It's called karma. So Andrew Barrett's jaw-dropping move hadn't happened. Kyler Murray is still available. Nobody else needs to be interested. Nobody's even talking about Kyler Murray other than he's one of the top quarterbacks available. Now, what happens the longer Kyler Murray sits? It appears that nobody's interested in him, so he's going to have to take what he get, and he's being devalued. That's what it is. The longer he sits, his worth drops, his value drops. Now, mind you, the team is only going to pay him the league minimum. So the position that it's putting him in is the same position it put Shedeur Sanders in when he just sat through day one of the draft, sat through day two of the draft, sat through to 144 on day three, with Andrew Barry saying that his skill set isn't worth first round money. Just like Andrew Barry just said, Malik Willis isn't worth the bag that he just got, QB1 money. So the Browns were only interested in Malik Willis as a backup. Kyler Murray would likely be a backup because the longer he sits, that's where they're going to pigeonhole him for the league minimum. We're only getting you for $1 million. We don't value you. We really don't want you. But like Shedeur, we'll take you. So Shedeur, Deshaun, and Shedeur, 3 QB1s on the same team. Malik Willis got away. Is that where we're headed? Well, let's look at the transactions that have taken place for the Browns thus far. All right, so the Browns got a tight end today for 1 year. The first transaction was a tight end on the day one of negotiation. The first transaction for the Browns offseason was releasing Njoku. You get the tight end on the first day of free agency for 1 year. You already have Harold Fanning Jr. You already possibly still have Blake Whiteheart. I do think they put reserves on Canales and Brendan Bates. So who's the odd man out? Is the odd man out number 86 that crushed Shedeur's finger, Blake Whiteheart? And this guy that's coming in is the replacement. They got another defender when their priority is supposed to be O-line, wide receiver. Tight end was not a priority. Defense, kind of, sort of, maybe, but at the bottom of the list. So we know that Devin Bush left. So they already had somebody on deck. Also very interesting that his replacement was at the ready. They didn't have to think about it. It was just, let's get this guy. That also just as interesting as Geno Smith's situation. But we'll come back to that. And then they got somebody else after they let one guy go to Atlanta with Stefanski. So you can see they're not doing a lot. But I hear people, the Browns revamp their O-line. I talked about the O-line. The biggest get for them was the guy who's god-awful at pass blocking. This was described. Zion Johnson is considered their biggest fish. He's the guy, not Titus, who got 63 million from the Texans, and not Egleton Jenkins from the center, from the Green Bay Packers. This guy is who they are betting the farm on, even though he has what I call a Jerry Jeudy type contract. 3 years, but I have an out after 2. So why does Titus Howard have a $63 million contract for 3 years? And this guy have a $49 million contract, and Titus Howard is not the big fish, but Zion is. All of their contracts have the outs. I told y'all, we talked about that. You can look at the money that they give them and how they structure these guarantees. It's like you get 2 years of guaranteed money. You know, the guaranteed money comes in. He's like, oh, we really gave you a $24 million salary. On the surface, to the public, ooh, so-and-so got a $56 million contract. But the most they might ever see could be 42 million or 32 million. Just look at the guarantee. And yeah, they get roster bonuses, they get workout bonuses, but they aren't massive, right? So why is it that Zion Johnson, 3 years, $49 million contract, abysmal pass blocker, is the best, considered the best one we have? I hear all of these people, oh, they build it around Shedeur. Are they? Are they? Or are they? Because do you hear them talking about the competition? I mean, I think Shedeur gonna be there. So they're gonna make Deshaun, potentially Kyler Murray or somebody else, and Shedeur fight for one QB1 spot when they're all QB1s. Everybody's talking about how Andrew Berry loves a bargain, right? I mean, Kyler Murray's a bargain, $1 million, and he's still sitting there, just like Shedeur sat there. So I'm starting to think, like we talked about, the big get is Kyler Murray. I might have to be wrong. It's just a guess. But based on what I'm seeing, the Browns using most of their cap space. I think they only have $8 million left. They have $8 million in cap space left for free agency. They already $72 million in dead cap as a team based over transactions over the years. $8 million in cap space left. Kyler Murray is the league minimum at $1 to $2 million. And you have $8 million worth of cap space. You got an entire, seemingly on the outside, you revamped your O-line, but people aren't paying attention to the skill set of the lineman. The best lineman out of Green Bay is Rasheed Wallace, and we did not get him for $20 million a year. We did not. Titus Howard, 3 years, $63 million. I mean, I would think he's considered a trade. I would think he's the big get, but maybe because he's considered a trade, his contract was just extended and it happened before the free agency window. So maybe that's why he's not the big get. But we did pay an O-lineman $63 million, and it's Titus Howard. And when you stack them all together, I mean, Titus Howard should be the guy. That's the one you believe in the most, because for 3 years, you gave him $63 million extension. And he's good. Titus is good at pass blocking. I appreciate that about him. But his run blocking is very underwhelming. And I find that to be concerning, that he could do one or the other. Now, it said that the tight end that we brought in, Monken likes a 2 tight end set. So you see, they started by pushing out Njoku, and they brought in this other guy for 1 year. Monken likes a 2 tight end set. The other guy is supposed to be great. The tight end is supposed to be great at pass blocking. We only signed him for 1 year. Harold Fanning Jr. is the tight end of the future. I would think Harold Fanning is the tight end of the now. Tight end 1. Who's tight end 1? The guy we're just bringing in? Is there going to now be a tight end competition? Or is Harold Fanning Jr. the definitive tight end 1, and the guy we brought in for 1 year is a backup? And then there's Canales and Bates at the 3 and the 4, and does that mean Blake Whiteheart is out? So all of those are questions surrounding the tight end. His name is Joe Tryon Shoyinka, free agent from Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield. So they took an edge rusher from Baker Mayfield. He agreed to terms March 12th. Officially, that's tomorrow. I'm like, so I guess he got the numbers, but tomorrow he ekes the deal. So Tevin Jenkins re-signed, but the terms were not disclosed. I don't know why, but I guess we'll find out at some point what Tevin Jenkins re-signed for. Last year, he's the O-lineman. He's on the Browns lineman. He's replaced it supposedly. Batonio, or I think it's supposed to be Batonio. He's replacing. Last year, he had a 1-year contract for $3 million. They didn't disclose his new contract. I don't know why, but we'll find out eventually. Quincy Williams, the linebacker, was a free agent. Again, he's on defense. 2 years, $17 million. I think he replaced Devin Bush. All right. So the notable departures are Cameron Thomas, who's a defensive edge who went to Atlanta for 1 year for $3 million with Stefanski and then Devin Bush, Chicago, 3 years, $30 million. Jack Conklin, not expected to return following the Howard trade, Titus Howard. Now, Jack Conklin just got a big fat contract. So I'm trying to understand something here. Where is he? And where is he? You just see, this is why they have so much dead cap money, right? Joel Batonio, future remains uncertain, with reports suggesting potential retirement. He's listed as one of the best O-linemen in the free agency. So I don't see that. So now that you know we have 4 new tight ends, we have 4 new tight ends. 4 new O-linemen. 4 new O-linemen, 1 tight end. Thinking I'm talking about offense. Harold Fanning Jr. is a starter. Probably could get an offensive tackle out of the draft. We could have got Rasheed Wallace, but clearly we didn't want to get nobody good. So maybe we're going to get somebody cheap out the draft because, they're rookie contracts, right? That's what people think. Well, that's what I think about Cam Robinson's position, or he'll be back. I don't think he's coming back, though. So with that being the case, we kind of checked off the boxes, right? We didn't even touch the wide receivers. So what are we going to do in the draft? You got your O-line together. You need 1 person. You could get 1 more person before free agency is closed. Do you think Andrew Berry is done for free agency? We still haven't seen that jaw-dropping move that they're going to make with that $8 million in cap space. Don't have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of needs. You didn't get nobody a wide receiver. What does it say? What does it say that we didn't get nobody a wide receiver yet and we only have $8 million in cap space yet left? Does it say what we're going to do with these 10 draft picks? The Browns have discussed that, people have discussed around the Browns, let's say it that way, that they need to get another running back because Quinshon Duncan's got injured. The running back room was stacked. And it seemed like they were talking about in free agency, and Mitchell from Baltimore is available because they just let him go to the wind. Why has he not been brought over? Will he be brought over? Because didn't Monken coach him too? Who did Monken bring over from Baltimore after they were gutted like fish on offense? Nobody? Let's see what happens with that $8 million in cap space. They're not going to be highly valued if all you have is $8 million in cap space. Sound like there's about to be 6.5 1-year deals for about 1.1 or 1.2, $1.3 million. How much is Kyler Murray's free agency league minimum? So with $8 million in cap space left, we need a receiver. That's not an elite receiver, is it? We need another offensive tackle. That's not an elite offensive tackle, is it? So who we going to get with $8 million? So that's free agency. Now let's talk about those 10 picks in the draft, 2 first-round picks. What are they going to do with them? Are we going to get an offensive tackle to replace the left tackle from the draft? Okay, let's go with that one. Then what we going to do with the other one? Are we going to get a wide receiver in the first round? Cornell Tate? Or the other guy, the one that I like, Jordan Tyson, who played for Colorado? The Browns not scared of injuries because Zion Johnson, no, I'm sorry, Eglinton Jenkins was just injured. So they're not scared of injuries. They're not scared of getting people on the cheap who've been injured. They're not afraid of that at all. Should be, but they're not. So what are they going to do with the 10 draft picks now that you have, for the most part, set your offensive line with low-level to mediocre talent? It is not a surprise. They did not get anybody that was elite. Rasheed Wallace is still over there. That's one of the biggest indicators. They didn't bring Linderbaum from they didn't bring Linderbaum from Baltimore with Monkey. So the people that we got, they're not elite. Titus said he knew the trade was coming because the Texans want to get younger. So he's aged out for them, but perfectly fine for the Browns, even though his run blocking is very low. What are we going to do with the 10 picks in the draft? If the O-line is mostly set, we have Deshaun and Shedeur, so we're not drafting another quarterback in the first round. We only have $8 million left in cap space. The Browns supposedly aren't counting on Shedeur. They're getting ready to make a jaw-dropping move in free agency that's supposed to shake up the QB room. We got $8 million left in cap space, and they're going to make a jaw-dropping move to shake up the QB room. What's that going to look like then? What's jaw-dropping when you have $8 million left in cap space? What's the jaw-dropping move that you can make with $8 million in cap space, and you still need a lineman and some receivers or two? I wonder what that is. Is it on my screen? Kyler Murray? Let's say that it is. What does that say? Are they sending Shedeur on a trade? I don't think so, because Murray's already a free agent. So they just bringing Murray in to shake up the QB room, and probably going to use one of them 10 picks to get another quarterback. Or are they going to trade Dillon? Because that ain't a shakeup. That's you should have never brought him here. 10 draft picks, mostly set O-line, just brought in another tight end, did nothing with the receivers, need one more offensive lineman. 10 draft picks and free agency, only $8 million cap space left. If it's a receiver, is he elite with $8 million in cap space? Is he a left tackle? Is he elite with $8 million in cap space? If he's a quarterback and free agency, and he on the league minimum, will he be valued as a starter? No. So what's going on? What's going on? It's the same kind of head scratcher as Max Crosby's trade. It's the same thing. So I'm checking my notes before I head over to the comments to make sure I touched on everything. I had about 5 topics today. One question was, who should the Browns get at wide receiver? What should the Browns do at wide receiver? Should they get somebody in free agency, or should they get some people in the draft? And who should they bring in, and who should they replace? I put that question in the comments. I'm going to put it on the screen. So when y'all came in, you likely saw this question. It's tagged as number 3 because it is my third question of the day. My third topic add-on question of the day. So as you can see right here on your screen, what should the Browns do at wide receiver? Who should they bring in? Who should they replace? That's going to be the topic of conversation when we get to the comments, along with some of the other things that y'all want to get off your chest and talk about and speculate, and let me know what you think is going on. Now that the O-line is mostly set, we have 10 picks in the draft. What we going to do with them? And $8 million in cap space left. Who are we going to acquire with $8 million in cap space? And you know what our needs are. Says, we know Jeudy can catch the ball. Is he willing to catch the ball and try to score and or advance the team down the field consistently, meaning do the job he was hired to do? That's really the question about Jerry Jeudy. That's the only question about Jerry Jeudy, because we know you can catch. That's why they hired you. But are you willing to do so consistently for the betterment of the team and to try to win games consistently, not picking and choosing? That's a real question, right? I'm going to put that in the comments so y'all can see it and respond to it. And if you want to rebut anything I said, all rebuttals welcome. Every last one of them. As people begin to meet me on social media, they are starting to realize I am well researched. So bring your best rebuttal with you and some research to back it up, because I keep receipts. Just like Coach Prime. Just like Coach Prime. So that's the other question. Jerry Jeudy, we know you can catch, bro, but you go do your job this year to try to help the team win, regardless of who the quarterback is, consistently. And of course, the question still remains: since Stefanski and Reese love Jerry Jeudy so much, didn't hold him accountable, why did they take him to Atlanta? Since they felt like he was the guy, to the point where they kept playing him, even though he was underperforming. I'm putting that in the comments so y'all can answer that question. And I think I have a list of people who were signed overall in the NFL. Let's see who that was. Let's see if I still have that. No, I probably got rid of that. I think I saw where Trey Hendrickson signed. Am I right? Did Trey Hendrickson sign? NFL free agency moves. Yeah, I had that earlier. Let's see. Oh, I still have it. Okay. Let's see who we have. NFL free agency moves overall. Best available defensive tackles, day 3. Projected Brown starting offensive line. I have all of that. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go out of that. And I'm gonna share it on the screen so y'all can see it. It said, as the start of the 2026 league year, which is today, March 11th, several high-profile players remain unsigned after the initial legal tampering frenzy because some teams made some moves. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Raiders led the way by spending over $200 million just on the negotiating period. Kyler Murray, it said he's considered a high reward option for quarterback needy teams, with the Minnesota Vikings cited as his top fit. Let's see if Kyler Murray. Well, why hasn't Minnesota snapped him up if he's supposed to be a good fit for them? Rasheed Walker, who plays for who? The Green Bay Packers, who the Browns did not get. The former Packers left tackle is currently a highest rated offensive lineman on the market. So this lets you know we didn't get the highest rated offensive lineman on the market. We didn't get the best lineman on the market. That's what my point is. That's what I'm trying to point out. So when you hear all of these talking points, oh, the Browns revamped their O-line. No, they didn't. They're going from one mediocre bad O-line to another mediocre bad O-line. And here's the question: will they perform like the same O-line did last year? And just in a year or two, move off of them, because all of them have 2-year outs on their contracts. And as you notice, they didn't put out the details of Tevin Jenkins' contract. So Rasheed Walker is out there still available. Jawan Jennings, a wide receiver. See, we didn't get him. We didn't make a trade or anything. Instead, a rugged, reliable target coming off of a productive stint with the 49ers. He is viewed as one of the best chain movers available in the receiver class. And we did not make a play for this guy. And we certainly cannot with $8 million in cap space. And he's not in the draft. So my point is, the Browns got new people on the O-line. That's just it. That they just replace a mostly white O-line with a mostly black O-line, where you have O-linemen who are terrible at pass blocking, and you have O-linemen who are terrible at run blocking. One of the 4 is good at both. Just one. You could have had 4 people good at both. If you would have looked, I'm pretty sure you would have found some people that were good at both. But what What are they saying? Andrew Berry likes what he calls reclamation projects. These are not elite, talented people. The best receiver on Green Bay's team is Rasheed Wallace, and we didn't get the best receiver. We got somebody who's aging out. He's 30. Stephon Diggs, back on the market after 1 year stint with the Patriots despite age. See? How old is Stephon Diggs? How old is Stephon Diggs? Because he aging out too. How old is Stephon Diggs?
Stephon Diggs is 32.
He's 32. So when you hit 30, you aging out. Aaron Rodgers, 42. Keep pushing. Joey Bosa, edge. After relatively healthy 2025 season with the Bills, he remains a top situational pass rushing option. I'm surprised we didn't bring him to the Browns. And I know what y'all gonna say. Kirk Cousins, QB, expected to be a bridge starter or high-level backup after his release from the Falcons. If we end up with Kirk Cousins with $8 million in cap space left, I will be impressed. I mean, you think he would take it, considering he just got 140, 180 million from Atlanta for 22 games. So could it be Kirk Cousins? I think we asked that question. Bradley Chubb, edge, slated for release by the Dolphins with a post-June 1 designation. Best available by position: quarterback, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. Running back, Aaron Jones, Rashee White, Najee Harris, and Brian Robinson Jr. Now, notice on the running back space, they didn't even mention Mitchell, who was just let go from Baltimore. And he's full of speed. And as far as I know, he's pretty impactful. So, and then the Falcons let go of their version of Mitchell, which wasn't the starter, but was damn good. And his name was Algiers. So I don't know where he is. So they letting all these good people go. I don't know what's going on. Bringing in O-linemen who are not good at run block or pass block does not help the team. There are teams out here that have 5 O-linemen that at least 75% of the line is good at both. It said wide receiver Jawan Jennings, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill. Y'all think Tyreek Hill gonna land somewhere? Could it be Cleveland with $8 million in cap space? What about Deebo Samuels? What about Stephon Diggs or Jawan Jennings? Let me know your thoughts, because we have not moved on wide receiver. We just get it going. We just get it going with free agency, and we need to make a move at wide receiver. It is listed as a priority. Tight end. Kwanko, Dallas Goddard, David Njoku's on the list, and Darren Waller. So David Njoku, who we let go, is listed as a top tight end. So why we let it go? Offensive line, Rasheed Walker, who plays for Green Bay, where Jenkins just came from. Taylor Decker, Wyatt Teller, I agree with that, and Joel Bitonio. I do not agree with that. Wherever Jack Conklin is where Bitonio needs to be. Edge defensive line, Joey Bosa, Arnold, and Biketi, Calais Campbell, Jadeveon Clowney, and DJ Reader on offensive edge and defensive line. That's defense. I'm not on that side. Secondary, Nick Cross, Jawan Brisker, Kevin Byard, and Kader Kohu. That's it. That's secondary. So what are y'all thinking? $8 million in cap space. You know who's out there. You know what it is. Let's talk about who got the money. Let's talk about who got the money. Yeah, let's do that. Who got the money? All right. Major signings and team changes. Trey Hendrickson, edge, agreed to a 4-year, $112 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens after a trade for Max Crosby fell through. So let me get this straight. In less than 24 hours, the Ravens said Max Crosby failed his physical. Turned around and gave Trey Hendrickson $112 million deal for 4 years. How much was Max Crosby's deal? That's the question. Next on the list, who got the money? Jalen Phillips and Edge signed a massive 4-year, $120 million contract with the Carolina Panthers. Malik Willis, quarterback, joined the Miami Dolphins on a 3-year deal at $67 million. So he's going to be QB1 for $67 million, and Trey Hendrickson is about to get $112 million as an edge rusher in Baltimore. Let's see how much Lamar get in Baltimore. Tua signed a 1-year, $1.3 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons. So remember what I was saying. The Browns only have $8 million in cap space left. See, the type of contract that Tua has, $1.3 million, which is the league minimum for him. That's probably similar to what it is for Kyler Murray. So we got $8 million left. Let's see what we do with it. Mike Evans joined the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-year, $60 million contract. Tyler Linderbaum moved to the Las Vegas Raiders with a 3-year, $81 million deal. A record for the position. Like the center getting the money. Now, the center that we got, the center that we got to replace Ethan Posey, we just paid him, what, $49 million or $39 million? We didn't get the best center. We got like the second or the third best center that's aging out. So this guy just got $81 million. And people are like, well, this is why he didn't come to the Browns. So let me get this straight. You want to be content with underpaying for aging out mediocre talent? How do you expect to get to the Super Bowl with that? That's just like in college. The teams that seemingly get to the championship have these rosters where these players are being paid. So how do the Browns expect to get to the Super Bowl with low-level mediocre talent? And swapping out low-level mediocre talent that's white for low-level mediocre talent that's black, it's just playing in somebody's face. And particularly whoever the quarterback going to be. Because remember, right before free agency, the Browns are not counting on Shedeur per Rizzo. And I have told y'all before, if you're going to listen to anybody over there, you want to listen to him. Kenneth Walker III, running back, signed a 3-year, $43 million deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Romeo Doubs, they said he should have came to Cleveland, joined the New England Patriots on a 4-year, $70 million. I guess Romeo Doubs replaced Stephon Diggs. They didn't want to give Stephon more guaranteed money, so they sent him with his guaranteed money and brought in Romeo Doubs. So they feel like they can make a run for it next year. And now you see they spent $70 million on a wide receiver in free agency. We have $8 million in cap space left and still didn't get a receiver. And you think the Browns are strategizing to win? Or are the Browns just keeping people on the field so you'll watch and run up that check that's divided against 32 owners for TV rights, TV revenue? Keeping bodies on the field for cheap. Key trade, Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver, traded from the Colts to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for late round pick swap. So that was a trade. We didn't even make a trade. Geno Smith acquired by the New York Jets from a Raiders to a late round pick, which means they don't value him with a late round pick swap. Minka Fitzpatrick traded from the Dolphins to the Jets, where he signed a 3-year, $40 million extension. He's a safety. David Montgomery, running back, traded from the Lions to the Houston Texans. Notable retentions and extensions. Daniel Jones, quarterback, failed 6 whole years. Took Anthony Richardson's job, pushed it right on out the way. Re-signed with the Indianapolis Colts on a 2-year, $88 million deal. And the star of the team is a different person. Pay attention. Alec Pierce, wide receiver, secured a historic 4-year, $116 million extension with the Colts as a wide receiver. Alec Pierce. George Pickens, wide receiver, placed under the franchise tag by the Dallas Cowboys, $27.3 million. Why didn't they sign him? Breece Hall, running back, received the franchise tag from the Jets. Travis Kelce, who, said his fiance, Taylor Swift, told him not to retire. Go ahead on and keep playing. Re-signed with the Chiefs on a 1-year, $12 million deal. So another example of a 1-year deal that can be done with cap space money. And we only have 8. So we can't even get a Travis Kelce. Just saying. I'm just saying. So Kyler Murray, people think he's going to Minnesota, but Minnesota hadn't made a move yet, unless it happened while I was live. Rasheed Walker, Jawan Jennings, Stephon Diggs, all still available, along with Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers and Joey Bosa. So, let me know your thoughts. 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 All right, so let's get on in here, and we're gonna look at these comments. Who's in here? So I just ran it down to you. Who's who? I laid out the situation for you. We don't have $8 million left, and we don't have a receiver. We didn't trade for one. We didn't release any receivers, and we didn't bring anybody in. And we got 10 picks left in the draft. All right. Come on in. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Faith, how you doing? Faith said Jeudy is a no for her. Happy Wednesday. It said, how do you trade someone that wasn't going to pass their physical? I think that's why the Raiders said it's not on them. I think that's exactly what it's saying. It said Crosby is back to being a Raider. So listen to this. Crosby thank you, Coach. Crosby wanted out. And seemingly he got out. And then the Ravens voided his contract and gave Hendrickson $112 million, sending Crosby back to the Raiders. So does that mean that the league, because it took 2 teams to get it done, with the Raiders saying that the Ravens backed out, just gave Max Crosby a whipping? Did they just punish him for thinking he could make a decision for himself in front of everybody? There's a white person tied up to a tree. A white person that loves Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family. Just FYI. All right, so let's keep it pushing. Thank you for that, Coach. Thank you for that, Coach. Hey, good afternoon. Hey, Tina, how you doing? All the drama over football. Yup, that's what it is. Max Crosby as a Chicago Bear. That's just what we need. All right, so Jimmy said he wants Max Crosby to come to Chicago. Do you think they will attempt another trade? Or do you think Max Crosby is a Raider going into the season? Let me know your thoughts. Hey, Blade just made it. It said they're getting receivers in the draft, Queen. Wait. All right. So Anthony is holding out the hope that the Browns will use several of their 10 picks to get receivers in the draft. What round? Because if it ain't first, I don't know. Is it going to be 3, 4, 5, 6? I'm looking for elite because that's what some of the other teams are doing. So if we want to compete with elite teams, we need elite players. Now, we have a quarterback that's elite, Shedeur, but they don't want him to play. Supposedly, they are not counting on Shedeur. So it sounds like the competition is just a waste of time. And it's going to be a PR nightmare if this is the case. All right. They get ready to make a jaw-dropping shake-up to the quarterback room. And it said that Kyler Murray is supposed to be going to where? Minnesota. Did Minnesota get him yet? In day 3 of the negotiations and day 1 of free agency? Let me know. Seems like they just going to let him sit. So we're seeing Shedeur get smacked down in the draft. Max Crosby possibly smacked down in free agency. And now Kyler Murray being smacked down in free agency. And Russell Wilson's name never comes up. So he might be a non-factor, regardless of who his agent is. And it wouldn't surprise me because Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson, whose team was just gutted like a fish on offense and potentially defense too without Max Crosby, starting from the bottom. Starting with scraps. Shout out to Kyle Hamilton. That's why he quiet. It said AB doing great so far in free agency. Nice upgrades to the O-line. Coach can't see the forest for the trees because he's too far in it. We love you, Coach. It said this free agency is a frenzy. Yep, it is. The best team, the teams with the money spent the money on day 1 of negotiations. That's the Raiders. That's the Raiders. We're going to find out. I'll see if I can get a ranking of how much money each team spent and rank them and see what happens. See where the Browns fall. Hey, Kenya, how you doing? Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. The best podcast show, Nola Queen. Thank you, Tamika. It says, Anthony says, they don't need Kyler. They have dirtied up his name because just like you said, he's one of the black QBs that's in the lawsuit. Yep. They don't need him. They didn't need Shedeur if that's the case. But you see where he is. You see where Kyler Murray is still available for the league minimum. You're not going to tell me that's not collusion. Faith said, if the O-line selection was questionable, then what are we doing? Are we looking at another setup this season? Pretty much. Pretty much. They said it. Let me see. This is a bridge year. Let's just be real. Everything they want is next year, right? All of these guys they got have 1 foot in this year and 1 foot in next year, and their third year will likely be wiped off, depending on how they perform. This year is an evaluation period for everybody on the O line to see what they're gonna do, to see what they can use them to do, and if they'll be around for when the Manning kid come in. This is not about Shedeur. And actually, Rizzo basically is telling you that. Remember, the station he works for was tracking Arch Manning at the beginning of the college season last year until he was underperforming. And they stopped. They went in 3 weeks and they had him at the number one, and he wasn't even the best quarterback. And it's the same station that had Shedeur at the bottom because they ranked them by jersey numbers. I'll tell you, they had Arch Manning and Lenore Sellers, with Arch Manning first, Lenore Sellers second. And Lenore Sellers got knocked out on the field and laid there for 5 minutes, heavily concussed, which is why he should have took the money and went to another school. But we learned this year because our guys see exactly what time it is. It said now, Kyler not going to the Browns. That would be a career suicide for him. Coach, come on now. Arizona was career suicide for him. Any team he go to with the league minimum is career suicide for him as long as he's sitting around. That's just like Shedeur sitting around to day 3. It's the same thing. Max Crosby, what they did to Max Crosby, it depending on how this work out, what they're potentially doing to Max Crosby is savage. Just straight savage. 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 Yeah. Let's see how that ends up. What they're doing to Kyler Murray just seems to be a continuation of the collusion he was already facing in Arizona because he filed a grievance about, the collusion case. The NFL was colluding against veteran quarterbacks. It said 64 watching and only likes 32 likes. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you, Selmo. Appreciate you. Hit the like button, guys. I know everybody's probably moving around. Just take a minute. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's support the channel, right? Don't leave me nowhere I'm not appreciated. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there. It said Jimmy Horn and give 1 pick to Carolina. Okay, so Tamika want to get Jimmy Horn. Shout out to Tamika. I like that. I know people like, no, the Browns are not good. Then if y'all know the Browns not good, how you gonna get hyped about an O-line that you now know, that you should know, is not elite? They just swapped bodies for bodies. They just moved out the white bodies and brought in the black bodies. Let's see what they want them to do for their bags. Because they didn't get it for free. They didn't get it because they talented, because the other teams let them go. You have to look at it like that. So let me just take a moment for the church announcements and say, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hype me up. Hype me up. All right. So shout out to Selmo for that announcement. Thank you so much. It said heck no to Diggs. Selmo don't want Diggs. Selmo don't want Diggs at all. Coach said Browns can't get the best. The best players probably don't want to go to the Browns or they cost too much. All right, Coach, let's talk about that because I heard somebody say that on X. If the best players don't want to come to the Browns, then the Browns have a reputational problem. And they need to fix their reputational problem instead of being content with mediocre talent, because what is that telling the fans? We're not trying to win. We just keeping bodies on the field so you can watch from TV. So you don't need a $2 billion stadium, and you damn sure don't need to be using taxpayer money because you clearly don't care about your team or your reputation. And leaving Stefanski to sabotage Shedeur and wreck the team last year when they were the number 2 defense and could have had a damn good offense, but several people seemingly were compromised. You don't care about winning, but controlling the athletes, forcing them aggressively into submission using what? Position and or money. So they have a reputational problem, Coach. And if they don't have enough money, just like supposedly they have $72 million in dead cap space, they could just throw Jeudy in there and have $82 million, because what's the difference? That means you're making poor decisions. So you need people who can make good decisions. And it's not just on the GM, because people think this is about the shine. For the umpteenth, 50-11th time, Haslam told Andrew Berry, go get me that guy, meaning Deshaun. And you saw Haslam dragged Andrew Berry to Ohio for the Texas UT game where Arch Manny was playing. At the same time, you have the station where Rizzo works, who just told you the Browns are not counting on Shedeur, was tracking the Manny kid first overall above Lenore Stellas, who got knocked out and moved out the way. You see how it works? People who are saying that they have a stellar O-line are not looking at the talent of these players. They're looking at old bodies going out and low-level aging bodies coming in. When Thomas Howard said, I knew it was coming because the Texans want to get younger. Why don't the Browns want to get younger? Green Bay moved off of Jenkins, Elshon Jenkins. Why would we go that direction and not Rashid? Why would we use the 10 picks in the draft on maybe first, second, and third O-lineman with Rashid? Take in the best veteran that's out there and put him around some rookies who balled out in college. And maybe one that was there last year. If you wanted to be Tevin Jenkins, okay, fine, whatever. The point is, the O-line that they added, they just swapped aging bodies that struggle with either run blocking or pass blocking. You could have brought in people who do both, like the teams that become contenders do. The Browns are not trying to win. They're stalling until next year. This is a bridge year. So for $8 million cap space, you just might see Kirk Cousins. Is Batonio gone? Yes, Nisi. He appears to be gone. He appears to be gone. Yes. Going to the Browns is a hard sell. Then that means they have a reputational problem. Batonio is a free agent. That when you say he's gone, his replacement is supposedly on the ground. But could they bring him back for 1 year? They have $8 million left. Let's see what they do. Amber says she don't think he's gone yet. He's a free agent, so he's gone from the team. He's free to go. He's not still under any kind of rights with the team. Now, they could bring him back, Amber. Tina said the Browns are toxic. Facts. I don't think it's just the Browns, because the Ravens told the Browns this free agency, as far as toxicity, hold my beer. Where did Monkey come from? Who did he bring from Baltimore? Where is DeAndre Hopkins? If players do not want to play in Cleveland, Cleveland has a reputational problems, and their fans are right to petition for accountability or new ownership. And if they have a money problem, don't know how to spend money, and you always, before Andrew Berry, didn't know how to spend money, that you've accumulated $72 million in dead cap space, so you can't get talented people, then you have an ownership problem. And again, Browns fans are right to petition for new ownership. I think the Browns will make a big move in the draft. And what do you think that'll be? Receivers, O-lineman, quarterback? Let me know your thoughts, because they have 10 draft picks, 2 in the first round, I think. Let me know. Let me know. Travis Kelce going back to the Chiefs. Yep, for $12 million, I think, for 1 year. Browns have 10 draft picks. AB going to cook in the draft again. Okay, where's he going to cook? Let me know where he going to cook. We already got Harold Fanning Jr. They just signed the tight end. We have 4 out of 5 O-linemen. There's several days left. And when does free agency end? Next week? Free agency starts today. It does not have an end date for all players. Most signings occur in March, but for restricted free agents, the tender deadline is April 17th. So technically, this is just the beginning, and it just goes on. March 9th was legal tampering period for negotiation. Let me share this so y'all can see this. So y'all can understand. Because a lot of people are new, followed Shedeur from college. A lot of people are familiar with the NFL, but maybe just not free agency. They don't follow it closely. So I'll share this so we can all know. It said March 9th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when the legal tampering. Now, the legal tampering is what we just discussed for the last 2 days. That's what we just discussed for the last 2 days. I'm going to make myself smaller so y'all can see, guys. All right, there you go. I'm somewhere in here. All right. That was the legal tampering period for the last 2 days. I know the Raiders have spent over $200 million in just the legal tampering period. March 11th, 4 p.m., the new league year begins. Free agents can officially sign. So those contracts that were out there for free agency can be signed because it is now 5:31 East Coast time. So shout out to everybody that got their new contracts. I like free agency. I like that guys get an opportunity to level up. If given the opportunity to level up and what could potentially be new life for their careers or the beginning of the end of their careers, but they get another opportunity before they go. April 17th is the deadline for restricted free agents to sign their offer sheets. July 2nd is the signing deadline for unrestricted free agents with a UFA tender. And November 17th, Tuesday, after week 10 of the game of the league, the season, deadline for franchise transition players to sign. So it's really the rush is going to happen for the most part this week. There is no end. We have not seen any jaw-dropping quarterback shakeup yet, but today is officially the first day you could sign. So it's going to likely level off from here with people just paying attention up until the draft and things like that. It said, we see what's happening, fam. Hey, Ramon, how you doing? How you doing? It said Max Crosby failed his physical. He was supposed to have gotten $106 million over 3 years. The Ravens were going to give up the first round as well. Roger, from what we understood, if you're just not joining us, thank you for the amount Max Crosby contract. They gave Trey Hendrickson a better contract than Max Crosby, apparently. Apparently, according to the Raiders, Max Crosby did not fail his physical. The Ravens backed out and wanted Trey Hendrickson instead, indicating buyer's remorse. And the fact that they gave him a little more money than Max Crosby says that that's what it is. And Max Crosby's a Raider. If there's no attempt for a second trade, this might have been premeditated on somebody's end, or it's just buyer's remorse. Let's see what happens. So I didn't even know they could do that. So shout out to I don't know if I should say shout out to Max Crosby because I don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, he's back with a team he wanted to leave, so he got to be miserable, right? So Max Crosby, according to the Raiders, did not fail his physical. The Ravens backed out. So that's what it is. So the Ravens backed out and scapegoated Max Crosby. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about a team basically lying on a player to get out of a deal? What do y'all think about that? It's right here on your screen. Max Crosby, according to the Raiders, did not fail his physical. The Ravens backed out and signed somebody else the next morning. Backed out late in the day when business was done and signed Trey Hendrickson earlier today for more money. It's a little bit more money, but it's still more money. It wasn't the exact same money as if, we already structurally worked on this financially, right? We have a financial structure in place. Let's just put a new person here. No, they didn't do that. They gave Trey Hendrickson more money. So it's indicating buyer's remorse and that the Ravens lied on Max Crosby, and the GM over there need to be fired. The GM of the Ravens need to be fired. This is malfeasance. This is corruption coming to the surface. And you put that with what Mendoza said, that, you should get arrested so you could come to us later on in the draft, which means devalue yourself, or they let them devalue you with you getting arrested. Look at how many people were falsely accused, falsely arrested, and devalued in the draft just last year alone, including Kyron Lacey, who's deceased. This ain't no laughing matter. And then the corruption. Look at the draft where Shedeur was concerned. Look at the Browns and how they treated Shedeur and allowed Stefanski to sabotage and abuse him. Stefanski gets to fail up, but now the Browns aren't counting on Shedeur, and he got to compete again, or maybe he don't, because they already know they're going to push him to the side. And then they bring it in low-level AG O-linemen who either can't pass block or run block, and giving them the bag for what? A bridge. So let's see who else come in as a bridge. Somebody they don't value, or somebody to do something. And then there's Jeudy, who should have left and went to Atlanta with Tommy Reese. Since he loved Jeudy so much, we want to feature him more than feature him in Atlanta. Why he didn't do that? So Max Crosby did not fail his physical. It is reported the Ravens lied and backed out. Remember, man plan, but guys laugh. Facts. AB's still on the cheap. That's what people need to know. And you can't get nowhere being cheap. All they doing being cheap is keeping bodies on the field so you'll watch it on TV on all these damn apps that you got to get to watch one whole season of football, NFL football. You got to get like 5 or 6 goddamn apps to just watch one season, to watch 18 games. I think that is the goal, because clearly I'm not getting elite talent. I got $8 million left in cap space and have not done nothing at wide receiver. We know who it's not going to be. It's not going to be Tyreek Hill. It's not going to be any other top receivers. It's not going to be Stephon Diggs, even though y'all don't want that anyway. We didn't get a top receiver. We didn't get top O-lineman. We just switched bodies for bodies. We just moved out the white bodies and brought in the black bodies. Let's see what they asked them to do. That's what people need to remember. This is why there is a petition at the Browns for accountability, a new ownership, because you're not getting accountability. You're not even getting accountability in free agency. Moving out Njoku and bringing in a tight end for 1 year, how's that accountability? That's retaliation. Moving out Teller and bringing in, I don't know, somebody who just left a team where Justin Herbert was sacked 54 times because he sucked at pass blocking. And that's your best get. That's your biggest get of the free agency period. That's retaliation. And another setup coming. GMs are subjected to the players' agents and the players' desire to play for a team. It's not always about money. It's about players' preferences and what they want to play. Right. And what it proves, if what people are saying is true. Who said that? Shout out to Roger. Roger, if players do not want to play for Cleveland and they play in other cold weather cities, Cleveland has a reputational problem. If Devin Bush left because he went to Chicago, which is cold as hell, he didn't want to be in Cleveland no more because Cleveland has a reputational problem. And one of the biggest problems is retaliating against players, devaluing certain players, undermining the GM, or sabotaging their own quarterback who wants to be a part of that circus. People who are aging out that don't have a choice, that's low level, that's not good on the O-line at both positions. Younger talent, the top talent can choose. So we still have a big jaw-dropping move and shake up for the quarterback room. Let's see what it is. This time last year, when do they start that pro day for college football? That should be coming up next, right? 30 days out from 4/11, which is a day after they signed Flacco. They still have Deshaun. They still have Shedeur. And they still have Dylan. So if Dylan ends up in Atlanta and Kirk Cousins ends up over here for $8 million in cap space, I don't know. What you thinking about that? Is that the jaw-dropping quarterback shake-up move? It could be. It could be. My nickname for you is Miss Real Truth. Right. Yeah. I think people just want their head to be stuck in the sand. And that's fine. But for the people that's looking for the truth, hey, how you doing? Welcome to What She Said Sports. I love football. I love sports, period. But I'm not going to sit up here and lie about what's taking place, especially if it's to harm the players, whether it's financially or whether it's physically on the field. I grew up with football. So it's common sense for me. I was a cheerleader. It's common sense for me. I grew up with it like a lot of y'all. And I didn't know all of this was going on. And seeing what's happening to Max Crosby, the way that ends will tell whether or not it was premeditated or buyer's remorse, or were they trying to teach him a lesson for thinking he could make a decision for himself. And don't get lost on he loves the Sanders family and Shedeur. Don't get lost on that. Don't get lost on most of the people pushed out the Browns embraced Shedeur. Whether it was Devin Bush, Flacco, Wyatt Teller, Tony Brown. But you see who they kept. Jeudy, that called himself trying to embarrass Shedeur. So what's really going on? These types of moves explains why the Browns have a reputational problem. Why players don't want to play there and go play in a place like Chicago or Minnesota or Green Bay or Detroit or Buffalo, rather than play in Cleveland, because they don't want to sabotage their own quarterback. They don't want to be devalued. Shout out to Malik Willis again. They're getting people that don't have a choice and putting them on the field to, if I struggle at run blocking or pass blocking, I can't protect the quarterback. So I'm not doing anything in free agency to protect the quarterback, regardless of who the hell the quarterback is. If Shedeur wasn't in the equation, I'm still not trying to protect the quarterback. And they didn't protect Deshaun, and he got sacked 33 times in 7 games. And Jenkins, Isaiah Johnson, came from Justin Herbert, sacked 54 times. And as somebody wanted to remind me on X, the O-linemen work as a team. Well, thank you for that. So they failed their previous quarterback. CJ Stroud was sacked 52 times, and we have 2 of his linemen. So looking at the individual sacks is irrelevant, right? If they work as a team, right? Who's responsible for the 54 sacks on Justin Herbert? And why would you bring somebody from that mess? Why would you bring somebody from the mess of CJ Stroud being sacked excessively? Is that what you're looking for? Is that what you're looking for? Because you clearly are not building to win. You're just putting bodies on the field so people can watch it on TV. You don't even care if they show up to a stadium that you don't want no more. Instead, remember, Super Bowl champions are graded ahead of time and not at the last minute. That's facts. That's facts. That's straight facts. Max Crosby wasn't allowed to play in the last 2 games of the season by Pete Carroll. He was supposed to have an operation in the offseason. That's what prompted him to want to leave the Raiders. So he didn't fail his damn physical. Just because you want somebody to have surgery, apparently the Browns wanted Baker Mayfield to have surgery that he didn't need. So what we're seeing is how injuries and physicals are weaponized against players. The Ravens said it. Max Crosby did not fail his physical. The Ravens wanted somebody else, and they proved that that's what it is because they got Trey Hendrickson before the damn sun came up and gave him $112 million, which is more than they were giving Max Crosby. And Max Crosby is now at a team he didn't even want to be on. So that can't be a good feeling. That cannot be a good feeling. So think you getting traded, you're posting online, you're showing the bank, you're excited to play, and all of a sudden, they lied on the man then. Just like Wyatt Teller said he didn't have no calf injury, and Stefanski lied on him multiple times to hide what? Potential retaliation for Wyatt Teller's support of Shedeur. You would think Shedeur is going to be there because they don't talk about trading him. And even when they say they're not counting on Shedeur, that don't mean they're going to trade him. That just means we don't want him to be QB1. So what's going to happen to their little fake competition that they ran last year? Because they felt the same way last year. And the draft was to push him down so he wasn't in position for them to count on him. And he still got to the front, played the most games for a deep discount. But they refused to let him move further on in the playoffs, just like Lamar Jackson. There's a trend and a pattern here. And what we're seeing, what the conversation with Mendoza in the combine and Max Crosby and the Ravens, and look at who got paid the most money. There's corruption happening. And fans are getting tired. Long-term fans like myself, we like, look, when I was young, I didn't see all this. And if it was like this, Lord have mercy. We see it now. Fans that have been 20, 26 years season ticket holders of the Browns say they out. What do they really think people want to see them put together bodies on the field with no intent to get to the Super Bowl? Do they really think people want to pay for that? That's why the survey was leaked, so you could see who's the worst. And Shedeur actually helped to bolster the grade for the team, the ownership, the front office, and how they think him is sending out Rizzo to do what? Devalue him. Why would Rizzo think that when he's one of the biggest advocates of Shedeur over there, seemingly? Why would he think that? Everything that happened to Max Crosby was premeditated. Trust me. Ramon said he think it's premeditated. It said the Ravens probably found more risk with Crosby knee injury. Second, first round picks was a lot. Okay, then why did you make the deal? So you're a terrible GM that you would bring somebody over from another team and go, oh, you know what? Never mind. No, that's premeditated. And it's the same premeditated situation that Shedeur endured pre-draft, where the Browns pre-draft with him extensively. Oh, we still have Deshaun. You've been having Deshaun since 2022. This seems to be premeditated in several areas, corrupt in all areas. It's not a oops. Oops is the excuse to cover what was intentional. Let's see what happens with Max Crosby. They are pushing certain players out of the league. Pay attention. Bye, Jeudy. Ramon say Jeudy can go. It's that certain injuries are a fatal blow to the production of a player. Yeah, but understand this. Why make the trade? The injuries don't happen mid-trade. Everything about these players is known. I could actually Google it. So for the Raiders to come out and say what? Max Crosby didn't fail his trade. The Raiders backed out. And then, and I said it, depending on how long it takes them to get somebody else, if they don't go back with him again to fix the issue, they have buyer's remorse. People need to understand that your beloved teams, some of these GMs are shady as hell. And the Ravens GM, what they did to Max Crosby was savage, because nothing about Max Crosby changed from when they wanted to trade for him to when they got Trey Hendrickson. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And since the Raiders say he didn't fail his physical, they lied. So the GM lied because I want somebody else. So you're playing with this man's career and you lying on him. That's defamation. You're devaluing him by saying he failed his physical. That's savage. And not in a good way. It shows you what they're capable of. So let's see what they're going to do with Lamar, since they so savage over there in Baltimore. I'm glad the truth is coming out. Whatever happens with Myles Garrett, the dominoes will start falling in place. So you think Myles Garrett could be the one that's gone? The fly show without a doubt of any doubt. Thank you so much. Without any doubt. Thank you so much. So that's what it is. I just gave you the tea. Right? You go out here and listen to whoever want to jump up and down talking about the Browns made moves. The Browns swap agent bodies for agent bodies. They didn't get elite talent. They got low-level, mediocre, aging talent, or talent that cannot pass block or run block, which means they got talent that cannot protect the quarterback. They did not get Rasheed Wallace. They chose to get somebody who was aging from Green Bay, who Green Bay moved on from because he's aging. So the reclamation project, this isn't even a reclamation project. This is when you go shopping to a sale and there's a clearance rack and everything is picked over. This is what we're going to start with. And it's not disrespectful. It's the reality. These teams are billion-dollar franchises that are supposed to be competing for the Super Bowl, and you cannot compete if you rotate 5, 3, 4 quarterbacks. You won't commit to the quarterback. You won't get elite O-linemen. You refuse to get rid of Jerry Jeudy and get trustworthy, dependable wide receivers. Instead, you want to keep the guy that leads the league in drop passes and keep him to go sitting under Shedeur for whatever reason. But you already know that you're not counting on Shedeur after you had this whole fake competition last year, wanting him to compete this year because you haven't seen enough, but he got film going all the way back to high school. And he played in the league already and balled out in his first NFL game versus the Panthers and followed it up in the regular season with one arm tied behind his back. Thanks to Stefanski that y'all let fill up and make $15 million a year to go do it again to Michael Penix Jr., who is also black. Look at who just got the money in free agency. Look at the top money and look at who got it. I'll see y'all tonight at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on What She Said Sports, where we're going to look at the Jets in free agency and particularly see what they're doing around Geno Smith or whoever they're getting as quarterback. And we're going to look at C.J. Stroud in the Houston Texans to see if they're building or stalling as well to move off of C.J., as it'll be time to discuss another contract for him, just like Lamar Jackson. All right, I'll see y'all later. Have a good night or have a good evening. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hype me up. Hype me up.